to the next trait, on to the next trait. And would you believe, before I continue, I would say, would you believe that we are coming to the end of the list of primary traits? So these are the things which could be noticed more easily than the secondary traits. So probably this is the last chance for us to be perfectionist, because at least these are going to appear before you, they're going to dance before you, they're going to show you. Others are not so, other traits are not so keen on showing off their character. So the level of difficulty is going to be higher and higher and higher. Of course, our first and major interest is knowing ourselves. By virtue of that, nothing should be difficult. You're going to sleep with yourself, eat with yourself, stay with yourself, run with yourself. So what have you? You've got all the time exposure to yourself. You've got insight into yourself, and that should be good enough for you to do many baskets. But more of those when we come to the secondary traits. Right now, we come to the end of primary traits. Here's the basket trait. You suffer from emotional bouts of richness. You suffer from emotional bouts of richness. You regularly try to represent emerging styles and values. You love to speak a language that declares your deep influence on the latest styles. In the office, you always want to distinguish yourself the way you dress up or the way you gesture, and you do not mind copying someone who is saw and cinematic. You do not mind copying someone who is saw and cinematic. So that was about a trait called Mr. and Miss Sophisticated. Mr. and Miss Sophisticated. So that was all about primary traits. Okay, before we move on to the secondary traits, we would stop by on a chapter called body language, body language, and so that will reinstate some of the credentials of the primary traits. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with. So thank you very much for being with me this while, and we'll continue our discussion in the next episode.